We are back, and I have a question that caused a little bit of confusion a few weeks back, and so I thought we'd ask it again while we had the expert in the office. The question was from Steph and was asked, Rach, this one's for you. A lot of people chat about debt recycling, but don't cover off on what happens if you need to sell the property to upsize. So I know you aren't a financial advisor, but from a mortgage broker perspective, could you provide guidance on whether you can transfer all of these split loans to your new PPOR when you move homes, or do you need to basically start your debt recycling strategy from scratch if you sell the home? So the question is, and a lot of people do this, you've got your own home and then you might have an investment portfolio, but there's a split for the investment portion against your own home. And there might be a split that somebody has for shares against their own home. And the question that's being asked is, when you sell your own home and upsize, because you're closing those loans off technically and then reopening them against a new home, are they still classified as tax deductible? Now, I've always been under the impression that as long as there was a purpose outlined, you could, but there was some different of opinions coming in saying, well, because the loan's closing, that's actually no longer tax deductible. The purpose is for a purchase. So can you please give me your answer, Leah? Because I know that you double-checked yourself when I asked again.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Rach and I had a conversation about this, then she sort of came back and was like, I received conflicting advice. So I did a double check with the powers of knowledge above me just to make sure that we're on the right track giving the listeners and Steph this answer.
Yes.
So you're right, you made context to it. The tax department sees that they want to see what the purpose, just like you use the word purpose, I know, for when you're telling the bank why we're lending this money, but the tax department sees the same thing. So if they came to audit, they would actually want to see the money was drawn from the loan and it was paid to buy the investment property. It was paid to buy that parcel of shares. And then they can even track the entire life of that loan and make sure that there's no additional redraws for anything other than maybe to maintain the property. But, you redraw to go on a holiday, then there's going to be an apportionment of the interest. So it all comes down to what is the purpose of the loan.
Yeah.
And by refinancing that loan and having a new loan number or a new security underneath it still does not change the purpose of the loan. So the answer, Steph, is yes, it's fine. So as long as the loan itself doesn't increase in value, we could allow, the loan application fees in there as an increase. But as long as if it was $100,000, then it's still $100,000 with the new lender. It doesn't matter if the underlying asset that's securing it changes, and it doesn't matter if the lender changes over the term of that loan.
Yeah, okay. So just keeping your documentation of what the loan was, what its purpose was for, and then not changing the amount as you move it.
Yes,
which
correct.
people might be inclined to do if they were moving it, thinking that wouldn't be
yeah
caught up. So none of the increases of your loan for your new house can go anywhere near that split.
No, that's right. So if we've got 3 loans, loan 1 is PPR, loan 2 is investment, and loan 3 is shares, let's say, then the increase in loan, keep it to the loan 1 to your PPR and keep your number 2 and 3 nice and clean the whole way through with any life changes that they occur.
Yeah, and I think that's I think it's really important because there can be interpretation differences in some of those rulings, and I think sometimes if something doesn't sit right, or you think, well, that does make sense, because to me it makes sense that it was for shares. It makes sense that it should still be tax deductible.
Yeah.
So I think if something doesn't make sense to you, it is worth asking more questions and drilling down a little bit more, because things should make sense.
Not always in the tax law. Yeah. But yes, I agree. If you're getting an answer and it just doesn't sit right, and this is left field, but yeah, I met with a client yesterday who had an answer from his business partner's accountant. That's wrong, but again, double checked myself, because we're all professionals and we all do our best to give the right advice. But sometimes,
and we're all human. I get things wrong. We all get things wrong.
Yeah, that's right. So don't feel shy to ask again or ask for extra clarity. But yeah, the making sense in the tax law can sometimes challenge me. But yeah, I agree with that thought.